Hi everyone, Paul here with Newegg TV, and today we're going to be looking at a couple cases from the Cooler Master Storm series of PC chassis. So next we're moving on to the Cooler Master Storm Sniper. This is the black edition that we have here, and we also have a Sniper transparent side panel window, so we're going to share that with you as well. For the case itself, there's an overview of the box, some specifications there on the side, some marketing copy about the different features there, and yeah. As far as specs go, it's black in color, steel and ABS plastic with mesh bezel. Net weight is 23.42 pounds. It supports micro ATX and ATX motherboards. 5 exposed 5¼ inch drive bays, 5 hidden 3.5 inch drive bays. One is exposed, which you can use a converter just to do a 5.25 to 3.5. Also one hidden 2.5 inch drive bay. On the front we have a 200mm blue LED fan. On the top we have a 200mm blue LED fan, which can be swapped for two 120s or a 120 by 240 radiator. In the rear we have a 120 standard fan, which we can swap for a 90 or 80mm. On the bottom we have support for a 140mm fan or a 120mm fan, and with a dust filter. It's optional. On the side also we have another 200mm, which can be swapped for two 120s. For expansion slots we have 7, one special, I'm guessing that might be the Storm Guard slot, and standard ATX power supply. Styrofoam packaging. Here's a manual. It was kind of wedged down at the bottom of the case. Sniper Black Edition. As you can see, the currently installed side panel here is all mesh. And just since we're looking at it, I suppose this is a good enough time to show you guys the optional window side panel. Two options for the side panel. Window, you get improved visibility, but not quite as much airflow. So up here on the top, we have our front panel, and they actually have a pretty extensive front panel system on here. You have your power and reset switch. You have this knob, which is a fan controller, and I believe it also can control LEDs. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 USB 2.0 ports. You have a FireWire port, eSATA port, front panel audio, and your activity lights. The the top of the case, sort of designed, I believe this is made to be a handle for carrying. It is pretty sturdy. It's not just plastic, there's actually metal reinforcement that goes under there, so if you have it loaded down with stuff, you're not going to break the top of your case by lifting it that way. And there's a 200mm fan right up there at the top. For the back of the case, a couple water cooling grommets for routing your hoses. There's your 120mm fan on the back, input-output shield. There is all of your PCI bays slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. Over here on this side is the Storm Guard. This is called Storm Guard. What it is a PCI expansion bay, and the little connector for it, it's made of a little bit more sturdy metal, and you're supposed to route your cable for like your peripherals, your mouse or keyboard through that. These actually pop out if you want to route a couple more hoses through there, and the power supply mount is at the bottom. The opposite side, pretty nondescript. It is bowed out to give you a little bit extra room for cable management. Finally, the bottom of the case has 4 feet. These are kind of rubberized on the bottom for vibration, and they actually pop out like that to give you added stability. So heads up for those of you who actually purchased this case, make sure you unplug this fan, otherwise you're going to yank out some cables because they have plugged it in. And for that fan controller that I mentioned, it's up here on the front, they're pretty specific about how you route these cables for all the fans. But there on the side panel is a 200mm fan already installed. The power supply mount down here at the bottom, so a couple foam strips on there to reduce the vibration a little bit. Here's an additional fan mount down there at the bottom. It's got it's one of those convenient little latch ones that just you pop the fan in, you don't actually have to bolt it down if you don't want to. Here are all your front panel connectors. Pretty standard. You have your eSATA bracket, USB and FireWire. There's your front panel audio. A couple more fan connectors. Very nice touch. The entire interior of the case is painted black. which just gives a really nice look, especially if you're going to use that transparent side window. The 200mm fan right there at the top, as you saw from the outside. The motherboard has a nice big cutout for aftermarket cooling, and as you can see, several cable tie-down points all on the sides, as well as a nice gap there at the bottom for routing the cables from your power supply. And if you've watched any of the other Cooler Master videos, the drive base here should be very familiar with you. This is the push button locking system. Push once to lock, push one more time to unlock. That's for your 5 1/4 inch drives. For your 3.5s, you have Cooler Master's tray system. Tray pops out like that. You can either bend it and snap on, or you can remove these little rubberized grommets. I find just snapping on and around the outside works pretty well. But once your drive's mounted in there, you face the connectors towards the back. So here's some, this is for 2.5 hard drives. They do have the screws all separated out, which is a nice touch. Motherboard mounting screws. These are a couple adapters for a floppy drive or a 3.5 inch drive. You can use those to install a 3.5 inch drive into one of your 5 1/4 inch bays. Also a couple adapters here. These are for a 2.5 inch drive, a notebook drive or a SSD. And these would work with this tray. And you can see how that works. They pop into the sides like that. Drive sits on top and it bolts in from the bottom. So a little adapter so you can fit a SSD into one of your 3.5 inch bays. Oh wow. And they actually have bolts here for a 1/8 inch hard drive, which is even smaller than a 2.5 inch SSD. And then they give you a nice complement of zip ties for cable management. These little rubberized circular discs here, they are feet for the bottom. They're actually replacements for the for these fold-out feet that are already there. So you remove a bolt, pop that off. This is a little bit of adhesive on it, and then you can just stick that to the bottom. So that'll give you 4 stationary rubberized feet that you can use if you don't want to use these. I'm guessing you would probably drop the case down another inch or two. I forgot to mention there is one more 140mm fan mount there at the bottom. You can remove this whole bottom panel to access that. And then getting back really quick to the fan controller right here. It's actually pretty basic. Once you've connected your fans to the controller, it's just you turn it right to make the fans faster, you turn it left to make the fans slower, and you can push that button to turn your fan LEDs on or off. Very nice to have that up at the front, especially if you have your case in your bedroom and you like to sleep at night without lights on. And that wraps it up for us today. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been our unboxing and overview of the Storm Sniper Black Edition over here. I'm Paul. Thanks for watching Newegg TV. We'll see you next time, guys.